For the first time in nearly 2 weeks, Carmelo Anthony waking up back at home this morning. Here's a look at the moment when the North Texas teen accused of murder walked out of jail.
You're not even halfway through your morning scroll when the headline hits you like a punch. $30 million transfer linked to Carmelo Anthony's parents. Feds reportedly too late. At first, it sounds fake. Another sensational post trying to go viral off the back of the indictment. But then you see the sources, 2 verified outlets, both citing leaked financial records that show something wild. A massive money transfer made just days before federal agents reportedly moved in to begin asset freezes. You keep reading. The article claims that multiple wire transfers, some domestic, others routed through offshore accounts, were processed under shell companies linked to the Anthony family. Not just one lump sum, not just a sale, a calculated movement of wealth. And then the key detail drops. The biggest transfer, $30 million, was completed 36 hours before federal investigators signed off on the freeze request. Too fast, too strategic, too clean. Now the internet's spiraling. Who tipped them off? Was this premeditated? Is someone inside the investigation feeding info to the family? Then a clip surfaces of Carmelo's father walking out of a bank, stone-faced, flanked by 2 men in suits. It's blurry, low-res, but the caption alone lights a fire under the story. They knew. They moved the money before the system could touch it. And you can't help but ask yourself, if you were facing prison and knew your family fortune could disappear overnight, would you move fast too? And more importantly, how much more did they hide before the feds even noticed? The details keep unraveling, and now it's getting way deeper than just a money transfer. Late last night, a whistleblower account, anonymous but historically reliable, posted a thread outlining exactly how the money moved. Not just the $30 million, but a trail of smaller transactions that started weeks ago. Some to relatives, some to shell corporations. One flagged transfer, a $1.7 million payment to a real estate LLC, registered in a state Carmelo's family has 0 ties to. Now, speculation is exploding. Was this money laundering, a rushed exit plan, or a quiet strategy that had been in motion long before anyone realized? You scroll through reactions and see people putting pieces together. An old photo of Carmelo's parents at a luxury auction reappears. A comment she made last year in an interview about setting the family up internationally suddenly feels less like retirement talk and more like a hint. And then, a local journalist drops a bomb. A source inside the investigation confirms that the feds were preparing seizure notices, but the transfers beat the paperwork by just under 48 hours. The phrase the reporter uses, "They moved before the freeze like they knew it was coming." That one sentence shifts the tone from shady to inside job. Now people are asking, was someone on the inside feeding them info? Did they outsmart the system, or were they tipped off by someone in it? The bigger question becomes this: if they knew how to dodge a freeze at the last minute, what else have they already buried that no one's discovered yet? It's no longer just about a suspicious transfer. It's about who helped make it happen. You're watching a breaking news segment when the anchor pauses mid-sentence. A new headline flashes across the bottom of the screen. Federal agent under internal review after possible leak in Anthony case. You blink twice. Did that just say what you think it did? The report claims that a junior agent working within the Financial Crimes Division is now being investigated for inappropriate communications with an external party tied to the Anthony family. No names, no details, just a vague accusation, but enough to spark a full-on firestorm. Social media reacts instantly. Insider confirmed. This whole case is compromised. They bought someone on the inside. A new theory explodes, that someone close to the investigation alerted the family just in time. Maybe a warning about pending freezes, maybe access to confidential case timelines. And when you think back to how quickly the transfers were made, it starts to make sense. Then comes the bombshell. A subpoena is filed for phone records tied to a burner number. This number, investigators believe, was used to contact a private banker just 12 minutes after an internal freeze request was drafted. That's not coincidence. That's coordination. Meanwhile, reporters camp outside federal buildings. Cameras flash, microphones fly. The FBI stays quiet, but insiders start whispering that this may turn into a conspiracy case, not just for evading asset seizure, but for obstruction, collusion, and potentially bribery. You sit back and try to process it all. A $30 million transfer, a federal tip-off, and now a system that may have been compromised from within. So now the question becomes, if justice is supposed to move in silence, why did the suspects move faster? And when families have money, reach, and motive, can the law actually catch up? You open your phone and this time it's not just headlines, it's helicopters. Live footage from a local affiliate shows black SUVs pulling up outside what's believed to be a family-owned property linked to the Anthony estate, a gated mansion, quiet neighborhood. But not today. Today the entire street is swarmed. Federal agents move with purpose. No guns drawn, but no hesitation either. They're seen entering the home with large black evidence cases and a mobile tech team. The warrant? Sealed. But the energy? Unmistakable. They're done playing nice. And within minutes, that footage is everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. The clip goes viral with the caption, "They're finally raiding Carmelo's family. It's real now." You scroll the comments. That $30 million move triggered the whole thing. Too little, too late. They moved money like pros. Who else taught them that? But it's not just the house being hit. A second report breaks minutes later. Another location raided. This time, a high-rise office linked to a financial consulting firm reportedly used by the family to structure the transfers. And now, the public mood starts shifting. This isn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It's federal escalation. News analysts jump in. Legal experts dissect the strategy live on TV. You don't greenlight simultaneous raids unless you're expecting to find something big, one former prosecutor says. Then comes the statement. Not from the feds, but from a spokesperson for Carmelo's family. It reads, "We are cooperating fully. This is a politically charged witch hunt against a successful black family." Now the internet splits in half. Some call it a deflection tactic. Others see it as a targeted takedown. But no matter which side you're on, the reality is this. If the feds are raiding homes on live TV, what do they already know that hasn't been released yet? And what happens next could shift this from scandal to full-scale indictment. The internet barely has time to digest the raids, because what comes next is even more explosive. A high-profile federal journalist drops a thread that blows the story wide open. At the center, a leaked audio recording, allegedly between a private banker and someone directly tied to the Anthony family. The call is short, muffled, but clear enough to catch one chilling sentence. "If it's gonna get frozen, move it now. We'll clean it later." The post includes a partial transcript, clipped for legal reasons. But it's enough. Enough to suggest premeditation. Enough to imply intent to obstruct. And most importantly, enough to make federal prosecutors feel like they've got leverage. Within hours, a new headline drops. DOJ preparing financial obstruction charges against Anthony family members. And that's when you realize this isn't just about protecting money anymore. It's about saving freedom. Travis Anthony, Carmelo's older brother, is named in the developing report. According to a confidential source, he acted as the logistics middleman for several of the flag transfers. One of the accounts, traced to an offshore entity registered in the Caymans just 5 days before the original indictment. But what hits harder is the timeline, laid out in shocking detail by an investigative blogger. March 3rd, feds initiate asset review. March 6th, internal freeze draft created March 7th. $30 million moved. March 9th, surveillance of the family begins. March 14th, raids launched. Now the public starts putting it together, step by step. They didn't just move fast, they moved early. And they moved like they knew what was coming. And suddenly, the mood online changes. The jokes fade, the memes stop. People start using a new word, RICO. Because if multiple family members coordinated transactions, used front companies, and interfered with a federal case, then this might not be about one mansion sale anymore. It might be about an organized financial operation with criminal intent. So now, the question becomes, if the money's already gone and the agents are closing in, what do they try to hide next? And more importantly, who flips first when the pressure hits home? The walls are closing in, and now it's not just lawyers or federal agents circling, it's Carmelo himself. After weeks of silence, he finally breaks it, but not with a press conference, not on national TV. He goes live, black background, no filters, no music. Just him, looking dead into the camera, tired, tight-jawed. And the first words out of his mouth? "I've stayed quiet out of respect, but I'm not protecting nobody no more." The stream clocks over 100,000 viewers in under 2 minutes. Fans, reporters, YouTubers, all watching. And what comes next is less of a speech and more of a purge. Karmelo says he had no part in the money transfers, says the $30 million movement was done behind his back, using legacy trusts and accounts he was written out of 2 years ago. He says he asked his parents to stop before it got out of hand. I begged them to think long term. They didn't listen. He doesn't name names, but he doesn't need to. What hits hardest is when he says, they're not just risking jail. They're risking what I built, and I'm not going down for nobody. The chat explodes. Is he cooperating? Did Karmelo just flip on his own family? Is this damage control or real? Moments later, a trusted reporter confirms what everyone's thinking. Carmelo Anthony is now officially cooperating with federal investigators. Not charged, not indicted, but willing to testify. Now the tone online changes again. People start speculating who's next, who's going to crack, who's going to turn on each other before the indictments even hit. Then a new post surfaces, a quiet screenshot from the Department of Justice's internal case tracker. It shows the case classification has been updated, new tag, RICO, pending. And now you know exactly where this is going. What happens when millions of dollars, family betrayal, and federal leverage collide in a courtroom? Because someone's going to jail. The only question left is, who flips first to save themselves? The headlines hit before sunrise. Federal indictments filed against Anthony family members under RICO statute. You reread it 3 times. It doesn't feel real. But then the sealed documents start leaking, page after page of charges that include wire fraud, money laundering, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. Not 1, not 2, 7 counts total. And they're not just charging the parents. They're going after the entire internal circle. A cousin tied to the offshore accounts, a financial advisor who allegedly coordinated the timing of the transfers, a longtime family attorney accused of falsifying asset declarations. The image goes viral. Carmelo Anthony walking into federal court alone. Hoodie up, no entourage, no smile. He's not there to defend them. He's there to testify. His name never shows up in the indictment, but his presence says it all. You watch the hearing unfold live. The courtroom is packed, cameras banned inside, but sketch artists flood the hallway with images of his mother wiping tears and his father staring straight ahead, hands folded. They say nothing. They plead not guilty, but the air in the room feels like the beginning of the end. One witness takes the stand under federal protection, a former bank employee. He confirms the phone call, the urgency, the voice saying, "Move it now." And then, the prosecution drops this. We have internal communications suggesting they knew about the freeze a full week in advance. The judge doesn't react, but you can feel the tension shift. This isn't a case anymore. It's a warning shot. Back online, the narrative turns grim. People stop posting memes, they start posting lessons. It's always the people closest to power that think they're above it. If Carmelo flipped, it's over. Money moved fast, but karma moved faster. And as the Anthony family awaits sentencing, only one question remains. Did they move the money to protect their legacy or to bury the truth? Because when the feds come knocking, it doesn't matter how much you've got in the bank.